Time magazine has unveiled its Person of the Year, that honor going to two people, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. The shortlist announced earlier did include U.S. President Donald Trump, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and frontline health workers, as well as the Movement for Racial Justice. I want to bring in Charlotte Alter. She is a senior correspondent with Time. She joins me now from New York. All right, Charlotte, first of all, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. This list always gets a lot of buzz, and the ultimate decision is often hotly debated. Tell us why Joe Biden and Kamala Harris were chosen as Person of the Year.
So they were chosen as POY because, in a year of so much division and healing and disease, frankly, they won this presidential election in the United States on a message of unity and healing. As they did that, together they represented restoration and renewal in a single ticket, and that was powerful enough to defeat Trump, who until this year seems like the most powerful force in American politics. I also have to add that Time POY is not an award. It's a recognition of who has had the most influence in the world for good or for ill. So a lot of people tend to interpret this as an award, but that's not how we think about it.
So do you also try and incorporate a more positive spin? Because I think there are many who would actually argue that Donald Trump fits that criteria as well as when you say for good or for ill, there's a lot of hotly contested debate about his influence on the world stage and his impact on American politics.
Yeah, I mean, we don't explicitly try to include a more positive spin. I think the point is that Donald Trump certainly had a tremendous amount of influence this year, but ultimately Joe Biden and Kamala Harris won the presidential election.
Not according to Donald Trump, but that's a whole other story. We will put that aside for now. Two big movements were also in the running, the Black Lives Matter movement, and then, of course, I guess not a movement, but the accolades for the healthcare workers who are out there. Why were they considered and why didn't they make it?
So we actually are recognizing both the frontline healthcare workers and the racial justice movement in the United States and abroad in our Guardians of the Year package, which is part of the Person of the Year package and recognizes the people who put themselves out on the line this year in order to protect themselves and others. So frontline workers and racial justice activists and Tony Fauci, Dr. Fauci, are our Guardians of the Year this year.
I see. Okay, well, that makes sense. And what kind of feedback have you gotten? What kind of response have you gotten to the choice of Biden and Harris?
Well, everybody, it's always a hot button issue every year. People love to debate it and, tell us their thoughts. And we always welcome hearing, what people think about the choice, what they wish it had been, what they are thinking about the decisions, and it's often an opportunity for people to kind of look back on the year and consider who had the most influence and why.
And who makes the ultimate decision? Who? It's not a vote per se, is it? I mean, who decides?
No, there's a small committee of editors and staffers inside Time who make this decision, and it's often kept very secret. In fact, most of the staff doesn't even know who it's going to be until it's announced. But this process starts with a broad meeting of the entire staff, where everybody brings their ideas, and they're debated inside the newsroom. And this year was the first time that we did this entire process remotely because we're working virtually because of the virus. So it was the first time we were able to gather digitally this year in order to decide on the choice.
Charlotte Alter is a Time senior correspondent joining me from New York. I do appreciate your time. Thanks, Charlotte.
Thanks so much.